Secretary Yellen told us yesterday that the U.S. should not and will not decouple from China. Do you agree?
I think we have to decouple in key areas. I would call it strategic decoupling. There's a weird thing that happens with the Treasury Department, and quite honestly it happens under Republican administrations too, where they tend to reflect the interests of the financial community, the Wall Street community. I think that was the case in the Trump administration, where Secretary Mnuchin had a far more dovish approach to China than, say, someone like Bob Lighthizer, who had a more hawkish position. But Lighthizer has been a proponent for strategic decoupling. So that means decoupling in key areas, right? As I said before, reducing our dependency when it comes to critical minerals, advanced pharmaceutical ingredients, and other key areas. And then in the areas where we're going to continue to interact economically, and I'm not advocating for complete decoupling, insisting on basic reciprocity and fairness, insisting that China abide by the agreements it made when it acceded to the WTO. And we were talking earlier about the tragedy that happened when we decided to pursue China's integration into the global economy, when we decided to shift from most favored nation status to permanent normal trade relation status and then WTO accession. We abandoned the human rights agenda with China, completely abandoned it, right? On the thought that as we integrated them and drew closer with them economically, they would moderate their behavior politically. But the opposite happened. They became more aggressive, they became more repressive internally and more aggressive externally. So it's time we learn from that failure, not double down on that failure, as it seems Secretary Yellen is doing. Secretary Yellen, I think, is the foremost proponent in the administration for what I call zombie engagement. It's this resurrection of an idea we thought was dead, whereby we can engage with China economically, diplomatically, and hope that they become a responsible stakeholder in the international system. That's failed for over 20 years. It's going to fail again if we go back to that.
What do you make of the administration, their approach that they will be engaging China economically while raising human rights issues internationally?
Okay. Yeah, we got to start our conference. I'll say quickly. I think the administration wants to have their cake and eat it too, and they say that, well, we can talk, and there's no cost to talking, take the temperature down. But the reality is, we have delayed key defensive action so that we could send high-level cabinet officials, multiple high-level cabinet officials, in order to get this meeting between Biden and Xi. The last 6 months or a year of the administration's approach to China have all been leading to this meeting at APEC, and as a result, we haven't sanctioned, over the last few years, we haven't sanctioned a single Chinese official for the genocide in Xinjiang. We haven't sanctioned anyone for the suppression of freedom in Hong Kong. There's been no meaningful investigation into the origins of COVID. The attempt to play down the spy balloon incident was a joke, all in pursuit of this engagement. And so I think it's dangerous, I think it's naive, and paradoxically it's going to make the Chinese Communist Party more aggressive, because these Marxist-Leninist regimes tend to get more aggressive the more you appease and accommodate them. So.